Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Batcast, where I, Adam Upper, talk with my friend Brady Onketti about Batman, the animated series. And this week, we'll be talking about Cat in the Claws, episodes one and, well, parts one and two, I guess, not episodes one and two, which I think is our first introduction to Catwoman. I don't think she showed up because of the weird production and airing the discrepancies. She hasn't showed up before, I don't think. I remember at least.
She hasn't shown up yet, but this is
Yeah,
also the first broadcasted episode of the show.
yeah. So as you said, this is the first part of this is like the first episode to air, but it was the 15th, and then the part two is the 16th episode to be produced. And the second episode aired, first episode September 5th, 1992, and the second part aired September 12th, 1992. And I think I read somewhere that they changed that because of like the popularity of Batman Returns and probably like the popularity of Catwoman, aka fuck, I always blank on who played
Oh, Michelle
Michelle
Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer. Or Michelle Pfeiffer, yeah. For me, when I think of Catwoman, it's the show over Batman Returns because I think I've mentioned in episodes past I'm not a huge fan of the Tim Burton Batman movies, or just Tim Burton movies as a whole. But when I did see it in September, back in December at that Imagine Cinemas there, I did remember liking it a bit more than I remembered. But still, yeah, it just still had Tim Burton aesthetic to it, and I was like, yeah, but I do like it. But this is more my Catwoman. How about
I
you?
would argue that when she gets her redesign in the new animated series, it's even more Tim Burton-y than she is in
Oh
this
yeah,
screen.
yeah. So I was just saying, like I was just saying, yeah, more so I prefer this one over the Tim Burton one, really. For that they were different. Yeah, because yeah, obviously the suits are really different. Yeah, and yeah, I think in that one, did she have a mask or was it like a domino mask or
In
oh
the
yeah,
revamp one,
yeah, or the or Batman Returns. Yeah,
Batman Returns, she had the mask.
okay.
And in the revamp one, she I don't know why, she had like white makeup on. So it was kind of blending because I know Tim Burton likes to have like kind of a lot of black and whites in his color palette. And she's much shorter too. So yeah, this though, I think the it does kind of fit the noir Art Deco vibe.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely like I like this costume for her. But yeah, so like started off with her climbing up the building, or did you see the person going into their apartment first? I can't remember now.
I think it showed because I just rewatched it very briefly in moments before this podcast. So it showed her, yeah, clawing up the wall with her claws, which must be pretty sharp claws to get through brickwork, but you know, cartoon physics for you.
Oh,
And
I was
she,
just thinking more I was thinking just more so she must have some good upper body strength to be able to climb up as high as she did just by like clawing up the side of the window. Because even if she did have that the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol like hand sticky gloves to climb out the window or the building, you still have I guess still got a muscly way up there. So so either way, like
Catwoman lifts.
so yeah, it doesn't matter how sharp the claws are. You still gotta she's definitely got the upper body strength to climb that. So don't mess with her, even with the claws or the strength really to.
And she's
And she
brought
probably
along
has
her cat.
yeah, so that has an extra couple pounds too, and she's real smooth going up too. Because if she was like real shaky, the cat would have been like clawing at her too. So,
That cat must have been crapping on her shoulder with fear as she's climbing up an 8-story building.
well, by the time she like opened up the window and said like, "Hey, cat, it's time for your thing," it looked like it was like sleeping more so than paying attention really. Yeah, so it was like okay, just like normal, just like hey, wake me up when you need me, sort of thing, sort of cat.
Yeah. Did you catch the name of the cat?
uh,
It has
I
not
did.
aged well.
I did hear it, but I've also forgotten it.
ISIS.
What? Oh, yeah, oh, ISIS.
Yeah. Like, yeah, this was definitely the 90s.
If that's the case, just don't watch Rambo 3 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Mojo Hadid that he was helping turn into the Taliban.
Are you
And that's
for
who he,
real?
yeah. That's who he was helping out in that movie was the fucking Mujahideen in fucking Afghanistan. And he
Oh
like
my,
did it. They turned into the
holy
Taliban or whatever,
crap.
or one of the insurgents in the over there, or something like that.
Wow.
So look at
I've only seen like the last two Rambo movies, which I mean was mostly just to watch Sylvester Stallone just run around on a warpath. But
just like blowing people up. Yeah.
clearly I'm late to that party.
So there's a reason why nobody talks about the third one really.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, yeah, Catwoman's got her cat, which will remain nameless for obvious reasons moving forward in this session.
Well, that's the thing though. It's not like she like named a cat because of that group. So it's not like it's just an unfortunate coincidence more so than being like that. We shouldn't be saying it. It's not like it's name something else or anything that we
True.
like definitely shouldn't be
So,
saying. So, but yeah, like after like put it in and like it was weird that she cut the hole like when after like she cut the hole and put the cat in to be like, hey, go get the thing. It cuts to inside and it's shooting out. Like she cut the hole at the top of the window, going in, be like, here, cat, drop down. And like, how is the cat going to get back out the fucking window when it's that high up?
I
Because
didn't
like
even
near the
think of
top,
that.
like you can obviously see inside. Be like, all right, put down the door so like the cat can jump on the windowsill and be like, all right, here's the necklace or whatever.
Yeah.
And then after you get inside, it like shows like the cat's eyes like adjusting or whatever the fuck they were doing. And like, are cats known for being able to see like lasers or infrared lasers?
Um, well, considering I know dogs are colorblind, I'm gonna
Well,
assume cats have similar vision, so I'm gonna go with no.
I'm no like veterinarian or cat biologist or whatever you want to call
We'll get a cat on the show and he'll confirm it, whether or not.
it. Or you can try doing like a MythBusters thing or something with it and see if that test it out and see if they see if they can test if they can see it.
Yeah, so Batman is stalking Catwoman, which it's kind of funny when you remember, yes, this was the first broadcasted episode of the show. So our first appearance of Batman in the broadcasting like part of this is Batman stalking and perving on Catwoman, which is kind of meta when you think about it.
And yeah, him being all surprised, he's like, "Oh, the Gotham's new cat burglar is a woman, eh?"
You're gonna get it.
He seemed a little too surprised about that. I think
Yeah.
they should have been.
Yeah, there's a lot of like very like kind of women's lib kind of lines in this, which for the 90s I think is pretty more progressive than like today's age. But it is kind of interesting kind of how like it's just thrown so many times in here. Like it's yeah, I'm definitely kind of interested that they went for this kind of angle like from the first broadcasted episode, but like you said, it was kind of put in I think last minute before
Yeah,
the
haphazard. Yeah, because of the yeah, because I said I think we've mentioned before. Yeah, I remember that when that movie came out and how fucking big of a deal it was when it hit the theaters and stuff. So it wouldn't be surprise. Wouldn't surprise me that it would affect like the TV broadcast like that. Yeah, definitely.
because most people
But
who are watching this show are like 12-year-old boys who are still trying to figure out whether they hate girls or not, and here they're hearing all this stuff.
girls, they can do things like who knew? Is basically what they're having. Yeah, because I think he says that later on, like when they find out that Red Claw is a woman as well. Once we get to that.
Yeah,
But yeah, so like gets the necklace or whatever, and like gets across the way, and she's like, "Oh, I got it." Then Batman shows his face, and then he started to do a chase. And I like when they show that one jump across the building and stuff. Like I'm fairly certain that cat wouldn't make that jump, like because the show was like Catwoman jumping, then Batman jumping, and like the cat was like almost made and stuff. But like yeah, for me, I think that was way too far of a far of a gap for that cat just be casually parkouring over.
yeah, cat goes splat.
Anyone wouldn't want to do that. Yeah, wouldn't want that to happen.
I did notice that Catwoman, I mean, if I had to kind of compare her personality to anyone in particular, she's almost like the woman version of Indiana Jones in that she adapts to her environment a lot. There's actually a couple of moments there where she pulls off some Indiana Jones kind of moves, and she
Yeah,
knows
she
how
goes
to.
out the whip. Yeah,
She pulls out the whip. She does the rolling under a descending door kind of move, and she knows how to hold her own with the rest of the people around her.
it steals an
Like,
idol and exchanges it with a bag of sand that weighs the same as like a big gold thing. You know.
yeah, blows up a Nazi plane and realizes that she blew it up for nothing, but it was a Nazi plane, so she's okay with that.
She did not see it.
Did not see that coming. Yeah, and then you get her and Batman having their first fight, and one of my favorite bits is when he's like kind of figuring out like, okay, what do I do here? Because I can't hit a woman. And she like scratches his cape like with her claws, and pretty much his response is, "Hey, that's not cool."
Yeah, he
And she
seems to be
man,
like instantly flirty with her for some reason. Like he's like not seen a girl before. I'm fairly certain like Bruce Wayne even just for the decoy he's I'm fairly certain he fucks. So like I don't think he should be this like this shy around a
no,
girl or whatever. But of
well,
course, so it is Catwoman, so I wouldn't be surprised really. So
true, but you got to remember who gave Bruce Wayne the talk. Yeah,
oh yeah,
Alfred.
the old stuffy old friggin' Bray. Yeah, so well actually, but I've come to think, I think I'm still waiting for my talk. So like who knows really?
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten it. I'm still trying to figure it out, and I'm way older than Bruce Wayne at this point. At this point, I think so.
Yeah, but what did you think of kind of the Batman Catwoman dynamic in this two-parter?
Yeah, it was like other than like him just being like oddly like flirtatious there, like yeah, well, of course there's the whole thing with her, I guess. So once you like get into their dynamic a bit more, yeah. But I guess it's like a nice little start, but also too like kind of odd to start off with like with it though, really before you get into his backstory and just kind of starting off with this. But I kind of dug it. Did you?
Yeah, I liked it. I think it's kind of funny how like awkward Bruce is around her, like even in the Batman kind of guise. Like there's a scene where he actually blushes when she's talking to him. And even in the scene where he first gets kissed by her, like you see his eyes bulge out of his head. He's
Like
like,
I said,
"Oh,
doesn't know what to
like
do.
what do I
Doesn't
do?
doesn't like oh no.
This
Am I
feels
supposed to
good
like
and weird.
why do I like this? Ooh, it's a girl.
I kissed a girl and I liked it."
Yeah, so
But yeah,
so they kiss
Catwoman
and then
manages to uh,
not
get a couple garbage cans chucked at him, and we cut to a charity ball, or sorry, a charity auction rather,
yeah, yeah.
where they're auctioning off celebrity bachelors, and of course Bruce Wayne's one of them. And yeah, speaking of Catwoman, we have Bruce Wayne attacked by a pack of rabid cougars.
So as I said, like I not even think I totally forgetting about this scene. As I said, like Bruce Wayne, that obviously Bruce Wayne fucks. So like obviously like why is he all? Well, of course, as I said, it's Lena Kyle. So I'd probably be like head over heels about her too. So yeah, her like gunning around and actually being like a almost like an equal one fighting and stuff too. So and
Yeah, but
costume. So
Bruce is like kind of walking right past the women, like kind of without giving them a second glance. Even when they're dropping like less than subtle hints, like, did you pick up some of the lines that they were throwing at them? Like, one lady said, and this is verbatim the quote, "Bruce, I've been pinching my pennies for you." I'm like, there's definitely some innuendo to that line. But yeah, they start
selfie
doing a they
all for
start
you,
doing a
Bruce.
and Selena
Yeah.
Kyle
So that
is
yeah. So like it gets up to like 1,000, I think, and then everyone's like, "Oh, what's that? That's a lot of money." And then she comes out and bids 10,000, and everyone's surprised and wins the auction. And then Bruce is like, "Oh, that's how generous of you and whatnot." And she says like, "Yeah, I'm just doing it for the animals or whatever." Because what was it the same? Was it the same mountain lion thing that she was going for, or was it just another? annual thing? I've forgotten.
I believe so. I think for the sake of story, let's just roll with that it's the same mountain. Because yeah, her whole idea here, she's trying to protect like a wildlife preserve for wildcats.
Yeah, 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 like that. Yeah, like a place like just outside Gotham, whenever. Yeah, then that's where. Yeah, we find out later on. That's where Red Claw or bad German Janeway, I think that's what I call her.
Yeah.
Or
We're
what
gonna
was
get to Janeway in a minute, believe
yeah,
me.
what was that accent that she was trying to do? Was it German, or was it just like vague like Eastern European,
Yeah,
or
I
is it
was
more
going for Eastern.
or more Russian, or is it more Russian than German? I think,
I was
or
going
like
for
bad.
Eastern European.
Okay, like yeah, like a bad like.
Yeah, and Batman, or sorry, Bruce realizes when they see a truck going by that the police are after, that he's gotta hit the road real quick, but tells Selena he'll catch her later for their date.
Oh yeah, this is why one of the times where he actually does the Batman disappearing thing, but as Bruce Wayne, because like yeah, they hear the screech of the tires and possibly like gunshots. They're like Selena and her assistant or whoever, which I forgot the name of. We're like oh my god, then turn around and he's gone. So obviously he's going to go out and do his Batman things or whatever. Then we find out yeah they're chasing a bunch of guns, which are like U.S. Army guns, but but we see like inside the truck that they're a bunch of Tommy guns, which just made me laugh, just like thinking like the U.S. Army using Tommy guns.
I mean, that's probably more.
Which I guess is probably the point of like guns is to like use them and stuff, but it's just like the just like I've seen like a U.S. soldier with like a soldier like uniform on like shooting a Tommy gun just made me laugh instead of because you always think of like Tommy guns like you have like a suit and like a fedora on like shooting somebody
This was the
or you're
Reagan years. We were in a recession. Yeah, so they're running out of the way, and I think they escaped to the sewers. So now I'm just picturing those guys bumping into Sewer King down there. I'm
well
looking
actually
for
I just flashed the Ninja Turtles actually forgetting about the Sewer King.
Adam. As long as I live, try as I might, I will never forget the Sewer King.
Yeah, I think my brain's like Wolverine, just like my brain's like healing over that memory just so I can forget it and not have to worry about it.
We call that alcohol.
That is what this beer is for, I guess. So, yeah.
There you go. So yeah, Batman bumps into Gordon, and Gordon's telling him that the leader of a terrorist group known only as Red Claw is in Gotham. So
Red
Red Claw
Claw.
really sounds like a very imposing name, but then when I Googled Red Claw, like for
Red Claw.
a red claw's a type of crayfish. Did this lady really name herself after a crayfish?
Some crawfish. Well, of course, if you think Red Claw, you think like at the very most like lobster or like crab or whatever. So even that's even that, it's
Yeah.
not that. Even though it's not that big. Yeah. So
Yeah, so Bruce or Batman says he's gonna look into investigating more about Red Claw. And the
Red
next
Claw.
day at the apartment of Selena Kyle, you were saying her secretary is apparently named Maven, and they talk about the date with Bruce Wayne, even though Selena's more interested in Batman. And as Bruce is coming with flowers, Selena's lawyer calls her, and apparently she was trying to get a deal with this company, Multigon, that was trying to buy up the land of this wildlife preserve that she's been fighting for. So she really is this definition of, thief with a heart of gold. Like she's got a cause that she's trying to support, which is, I think, part of the reason why Bruce sees the good in her and is trying to, kind of lure her onto the side of the angels. So Bruce decides to pull his white privilege card and try and get her a meeting with the company's chairman, Stern. And he manages to actually get her all the way over to the Multigon, head office. And they're talking with them. One thing that I found funny in the animation of this scene, the Multigon CEO, his nose keeps on disappearing and appearing several times in that shot. I'm like, is this Voldemort like drinking some polyjuice potion?
Yeah, even with what my job is, I should have caught that, but I didn't.
And the other thing I found kind of funny about this guy is in a lot of, like, you and I just watched with the doctor the Heart of Ice episode, and Ferris
Yeah,
Boyle was the CEO, and he's very much the, like, I am the man in charge here. Like, even with like a guy like Victor, when he's like, refusing to, like, admit to his wrongdoing, like, these are people in positions of authority who hate being second banana. But with this guy who, as it turns out, happens to be working not with Red Claw, but for her. All she has to do is say jump, and pretty much his answer is, how high, my dear?
yeah, you got a handy person who likes a strong woman, I guess.
Yeah,
Speaking of the dog.
yeah, there you go. He's into the big Barda types. And speaking of which, we get our first introduction to Red Claw herself. And yeah, she is kind of the big Barda type. She's kind of got this Electra Nachios, Carmen San Diego kind of vibe. A little bit of Baroness from G.I. Joe.
Yeah, yeah,
And she's
and
voiced by one Kate Mulgrew. That's right, Captain Janeway
yeah,
herself.
yeah. So back from the Delta Quadrant, she's taken over. Yeah, Eastern Europe and gang or criminal organization. Yeah, she got kicked out of Starfleet. She didn't become an admiral after all, like you would find out in what, First Contact or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, or yeah, this is or that or is this how we find out we're in the mirror universe? That's she's not yeah, she's not admiral. She's that. So
This is the universe where Janeway was actually mutinied by her crew because they were sick and tired of her sending them all to their deaths on stupid away missions. This is the timeline where Neelix spilled her coffee and she went ballistic.
or yeah, there wasn't coffee in that nebula.
It was Irish coffee. So she's not wanting anybody to be disrupting her plans, which we're gonna get to in a minute or two. And then we cut to Batman. So Batman of anything is kind of like usually one step behind Catwoman in a lot of the kind of progression of the story, which is very unusual for a Batman kind of centered kind of cartoon. But this is the funniest thing. He grabs this random mob boss and just grabs this guy by the collar and says, "Tell me everything about Red Claw." And more or less, this mob boss's answer is, "Sir, this is a Wendy's." It's like, I'm a freaking gang lord. I don't know what a terrorist is up to. Like, when I need to find like Saddam Hussein, I don't go talking to Tony Soprano.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, she's obviously just gotten to Gotham. Yeah, so it's not like yeah, she's that way one of the regular folk where she's like set up like across the street from the abandoned maybe some park from the Joker, so people know where she is. Like I said, she's only one crazy enough to go over there, so that's where she is or whatever.
Yeah, but
Like I
I
don't know.
guess this guy did eventually know something because he does appear later and gives him some information. So, hey, every once in a while, Batman
Or,
gets
or, or,
lucky.
or he's like, yeah, let me go figure it out. I'll come. Let me get back to you. But
You scare me into doing anything, and I mean anything. And Catwoman's sneaking into Multigon, meanwhile, looking for information about this company trying to get the wildlife reserve and what they're really after, because she knows that there's definitely a secret agenda going on.
oh yeah, I
And
think it's like right after like isn't it right after that Batman grills the mob guy that's where we find out that that Red Claw when we find out with Red Claw that she's going for the train and the plague or whatever on it.
um,
Isn't that covered when we first find her? Yeah, when we first find her now.
well, when that guy shows up, it's in part two. So like with the part one, what happens is Red Claw telling her men that, like, yeah, about this train. Sorry, I see what you're talking about now. Yeah,
Yeah,
talking about the train, and they're gonna be transporting this plague that I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
Interpol took from her men. And they actually see on the security camera that Catwoman's like digging through their files.
yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah, like so. As they're talking, yeah, she breaks it and then gets into the breaks in again, cutting the glass and whatnot, and gets into the safe because because when her and Bruce were there earlier talking to the guy, he plays a little writing melody on the keyboard, raises the thing, and then she does
right,
that again and it opens up the safe. And then it shows as she's taking pictures in the safe, it shows that like the one skull on the wall across the way has a camera in it, but then the alarm goes off and Red Claw is looking at the thing. There's so many other camera angles too. Like how many cameras are in that room? Like it should just be like the one from a cry like that's behind her being like, okay, like she's taking pictures and see like a flash going off every couple of seconds to show that she's taking a picture. But there's like 5 or 6 different camera angles, and like one's like right in front, two of them are like right in front of her face.
well, but does this camera angle get both Catwoman and her cat? Because yet again, I understand why she brought the cat the first heist. Why is she bringing the cat back? This
Oh,
cat has
that's why she's
attachment
called Woman.
issues.
I think she's called Catwoman because she's the cat burglar, but she just really likes cats.
And then there's, fighting to preserve the life of animals while you're simultaneously endangering your own. So yeah, Red Claw sends men to go take out the intruder. And yeah, Catwoman pulls a Die Hard and starts crawling through the air vents, leaving cat ninja stars. I was like, that's pretty cool. I didn't know she had
Yeah,
those.
yeah, that would be cool to have. But I was just thinking, oh, like obviously that's a very custom job. So I wonder like who she hired out because I wouldn't want to take because she left so many in there. So obviously she has a bunch, and obviously it's probably not the only ones that she has. So like, because that would be definitely time consuming to make, I think. So I wonder whose job that in Gotham would make like cat ninja stars.
Yeah. Well, even like a shop guy, like trying to like, file those down repeatedly. And it's just like, can't I just make like a frame or something, like like a mold to get these in the right pattern? And it's like, no, every one must be like a snowflake. It must be different.
All right, I'll have the next batch for you done in like a month. This is all I'll be doing. So you better fucking pay me.
She will find a way to get the money.
Or she just like yeah, like the night before she goes to pick him up, she actually comes and steals them. She's like, "Fuck again! I should know by now. This is the fourth time she's done this."
Why did I trust to do business with a thief? This always happens. So yeah, Catwoman's trying to escape the building and she's shot off a ledge by Red Claw, and that's when Batman swings in kind of like Tarzan, and she
Yes.
plants one on him. And yeah, again, I love the look on his face when she kisses him. Like he has no idea what to do.
And yeah, and yeah, Red Claw, like her Janeway fucking shoots her off with a freaking grenade launcher, and it's like lands like right beside her. So like she should be fucking dead
Yeah.
because it lands, yeah, like that it lands like right beside her to knock her off. And that's the end of the first episode, and like she just see her like fall and stuff, and then yeah, like and I see that that Batman saves her, right?
Well, part one
Or
actually, it ends with this guy who's, I guess, tracked her to her apartment. So they know who
oh, that's
Catwoman
right.
is.
Okay. Sorry, I was gonna say, and like, I have the note saying like I'm surprised, like after yeah, pulling out and seeing him, he's like, oh, yeah, whatever, I forgot you. And then I was waiting for Batman to show up and be like, club him in the back of the head or something like that, and then destroy the recording equipment.
And
But he
that's when
didn't.
you cut to Batman meeting back with that mob boss and asking about what he's found out about Red Claw. And he tells him about rumor of this military train heist.
Yeah,
And he's wondering if Red Claw and her goons might be going after whatever's inside it. And
yeah, and
Batman's
then
trying to find out more about this train heist. And Gordon's realizing, yeah, they're probably going to take this military train. You get this funny line from Gordon, which is kind of like the more you think about it, the less it makes sense. blasted feds and their secrets. It's like you're a government employee. Like I would think the police commissioner would be someone who would be pro-government rather than anti-government.
Yeah, but he's like, they should be telling me this sort of shit though, man. Like, come on. I got a Batman to deal with. Like I tell me all I need to know.
Give my illegal vigilante some information that is classified. That's all I'm asking. So yeah, Red Claw and her thugs, they're getting in on the train. Oh, the soldiers guarding the train. Did you catch the guy? Like they have this box with a giant skull and crossbones on it, and they know they're carrying a
Yeah,
plague. They
yeah,
use
yeah.
the word plague. And this guy's got a giant rifle and he smacks the butt of his gun against the box. It's like, okay, if you didn't know what was in there, that'd be one thing. But the fact that this is a biological weapon and you're just like roughhousing it, don't poke
Yeah,
the plague.
yeah, and then too, like once Red Claw gets on there too, and too, did you see like how they fucking open that box to get the plague? They fucking
Yeah.
shoot the lock off. We're like, don't shoot at the fucking plague. Like that's yeah, like hitting the box is one thing. Fucking shooting at it because it's in a metal fucking train. Is there a good chance the bullet's gonna fucking bounce and fucking possibly hit that, and then you're all fucking dead and your plan goes to shit. So what the fuck?
We've gone from embarrassing ways for Batman to die to embarrassing ways for Red Claw to die. Shoots the plague
Some
box
ways
open,
to die.
shoots the plague box open, gasses herself in the face, falls down dead. Batman walks in and goes, "Oh, well, I guess that's done." So yeah, Red Claw's making her escape with the plague canister, and yeah, that's where Batman's surprised she's a woman. Like, what? You didn't think that a woman could be deadly? He's like, no, I'm equal opportunity crime fighter. So Batman's
Fuck.
woke, and
Yeah, that means I have equal opportunity to punch you in the face.
just don't cancel me. So yeah, Red Claw's saying she's going to use this plague as like a way of like would you call it like an equalizer or something to basically release it and kill everyone within a 10-mile radius.
But
And
how's that make it an equalizer though? Like that they both don't win then? Like that choice of words didn't make sense to me. I don't understand.
yeah, she clarifies that later on that there's actually like a second phase to her plan, but even still, I'm like, I think
What
this is a
was there?
half-baked plan at best. Well, later on when she has Batman and Catwoman tied up,
Yeah.
she's gonna use the plague on them while she runs away, and then is gonna more or less use her plan of, I guess, holding like Gotham
Oh yeah, to,
hostage.
oh yeah, that's where she's getting $1 billion or whatever, right? Or whatever.
Yeah,
She's
but
got
she says she's gonna use a placebo.
okay. Well, that's because yeah, because she was using it to get away instead of
Yeah,
fucking giving it to him. Okay,
but it's
yeah, I
like
forgot.
you have a giant plague. Just give them a small sample of it. If it's that deadly, then it'll kill those two. Keep the plague for your main plague. I don't know. I was just like I
And
shouldn't be
a
thinking more
and a
than you
billion
are of this.
and $1 billion seems to be a lot of money for like in 1992 to be gunning for because it's usually like a couple hundred million or whatever. So that's weird.
Yeah.
That oddly high number, I think, for
Again,
1992.
it was a recession.
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, so the next day Selena and Bruce are going out on their date, but Red Claw's men are following them and they end up crashing into her car.
Yeah. It,
Bruce starts actually taking some pretty aggressive driving and is
and,
able
and,
to
and it and it takes them way too long to notice because like you see that like they drive away and the car's like right behind them right away. Like do you think you would have like noticed like that a lot closer because there's like he didn't like wait, there wasn't like a couple seconds and then the guy like that guy's a bad tail if he's that close right away.
yeah. Yeah, it did not pick up on the how not to get noticed by your enemy
Right away, yeah.
101. But that then you get Bruce managing to outmaneuver these guys. The thugs fly off the bridge when they start playing chicken with the cars, and Bruce drives off. Okay, so we see the guys get out of the car and swim to the nearest available place to get out of the water, but Bruce didn't. So as
Yeah,
far
they
as
just drove
Bruce
under the
Wayne
way.
knows, he committed manslaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He has the money, and as you said earlier, like the billionaire white privilege card. Yeah, you can probably get away with it. Just like pay off the cops and be like, yeah, I did this. Say it was an accident. Yeah, I was just trying. It was self defense.
Your Honor, in this courtroom, who has not accidentally killed someone? Really? My lawyer here has it. Shut up.
They're all on
So,
purpose. I mean,
yes, I did it legally. So Selena thanks Bruce, and after she gets taken back to her apartment, and Bruce has gone to the Batcave to get looking into more about Red Claw and what she would have against Selena Kyle. And
what their connection is. Yeah.
yeah, and that's where Alfred notices a cat hair on Bruce's coat.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
or he first asks if it's Selena's hair, I think, right? Then he's like, "Oh no,
mhm.
it's a cat hair," and he's like, I never saw a cat, but Batman's seen this cat before." Or because I
Yeah,
think because they commented that it's like a weird color or something. I think.
yeah, and I think that earlier in the episode they had one of Isis's cat hairs that had landed on his Batman uniform. So I guess he was also comparing the hairs just to confirm it. And back at Selena's apartment, Selena's gone out to look more into the Red Claw stuff. Maven's there, and that's where she's attacked in she's attacked by one of Red Claw's thugs. I really like the way that they had this shot. This is obviously not cinema in the sense of live action, but the framing of the glass table where she can see his reflection behind her, that
Yeah,
was actually really well storyboarded.
yeah. I always like that. Yeah, and then she like throws the drink in in his face, and then she gets away. And I think does Batman show up at some point to save her in that or no?
Yeah, Batman shows up and he's asking Maven where Catwoman's gone to, and she tells him where to look for her to make sure that, he saves her or keeps her from getting into any more trouble than she already is. And that's where Maven tells him that, Catwoman's actually in love with you. Like, she's not just, flirting with you because the six pack under your tights. Like, you're someone that she actually cares about. And that Batman doesn't know what to say about that. It's like, do I look like marriage material? No, you kind of look like Tinder material. And yeah, Batman left that guy, the thug, hanging multiple stories. Like, Selena's in a penthouse apartment. Like, how are the police supposed to get to this guy? Uh, and so Catwoman goes to the Multigon site, and this is where, yeah, like I said, there's all these wildlife, wildcats kind of roaming around, and Catwoman uses one of it to her advantage because she's able to sick one of the wildcats on the guy. We don't know if he lived. We never see him die, but we didn't see him get away either. And yeah, so she's able to get him all tied up and enter through the ventilation system again. And that's really, I think, where she was kind of playing it a little cocky because it's like they already know you went through the ventilation system before. Why would you go through it again? Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's like, yeah, but you broke it. You left cat ninja stars all over it.
Well, that guy that got all of them in his arms and stuff, I'm sure he probably was like, yeah, spent the rest of the night trying to fix that and stuff. So he probably didn't wasn't able to tell the other people like, oh yeah, by the way, don't go into the vents because she might have some weird shit that scratches you and stuff. It's a pain.
Yeah. So she gets caught by Red Claw's thugs, and Batman comes in, and they're managing to fight him off for a little bit, but they get captured. and they're tied up in this bunker that I guess Reclaw said was made for government officials. So is this like a presidential bunker or something? Like, I don't know.
Oh,
Is
well, yeah,
Batman
yeah,
in Diefenbunker? Bunker?
well, it looked like it was kind of like a mountainous area, so it's probably like one of those things that you like in like in the States and like Colorado and stuff where they build like that NATO stuff under the mountains so that like if there was like a threat, a bigger threat of nuclear thing, they can go in there and it withstand like the nuclear blast and they can chill there for a while. So it's probably that probably had like multiple versions of that built around there. So it's probably one of those things where it's like one of like 10 sites that they had just in case, depending on wherever the president was, like whenever shit happened went down, sort of thing.
I just found the one that wasn't guarded at the top.
There's like that one that he just got shuffled around, they forgot about, and just like all the paperwork, it just got lost coincidentally.
Yeah,
And they're like, oh, like, oops, like, we lost like $1 billion facility. We forgot where it was. They're like, oh yeah, it's in Gotham. They're like, oh yeah,
Mr.
we don't
Pre
want to go, we don't want to go there, so we'll just leave it.
Mr. President, we've lost areas 52 to 100. Ah, sure to turn up somewhere. So, Red Claw, I was kind of impressed that this didn't come up. Red Claw is obviously not knowledgeable enough with Batman to know that when you get him captured, you take away his belt because his belt was on there. He just wasn't able to access it.
Yeah,
Catwoman's able to save his butt before that.
yeah, you
But
use the
even mid-level mob bosses know this is a thing you do.
yeah. Yeah, so
And
so if she was from Gotham, she would have known that, yeah, but she just got there, yeah.
yeah, she's working abroad. And yeah, as I was mentioning before, she's going to use the plague virus on the two of them, and instead she's going to use a placebo for the her main plan of holding the city
For the trade,
ransom.
yeah.
So I'm assuming this is a last minute change up, but because if you really were planning on the placebo in the first place, why bother holding this military train up to robbery? Like you're just wasting your money and resources and time.
Well,
But
so what I say they did, like you'd be like, I'll have this plague, so if somebody wants to buy it later to cause havoc, I'll have it so I'll make even more money later on when I spend this first billion. So
yeah,
that's probably kind of how I took it. It's like, and plus, anyway, like I might need a plan to do it later on to do stuff. So I would just be like, hey, I have a plague. I do have a plague, so do what I say, or I'll release it. Either way, she's got another plan set up later on. So
yeah.
except for this point where she actually using it and getting the money. So I guess she'll have to get another plague later on.
And she uses a bit of acid onto the canister lid, so it's going to slowly eat through the seal and expose them to the
Real
vapor.
acid?
The goggles do nothing. And Catwoman uses her claws, which at first I was like, how do they not notice the claws? But they do retract. Like they're not just
Yeah,
like out there, just like, for the naked eye.
yeah,
Um, Kind of like a switchblade. And
yep.
Batman tells Catwoman to escape so that he can stay behind and destroy the plague. What follows is probably one of the most badass things I have ever seen Batman do. He grabs a hose, sprays gasoline from a tanker truck, grabs a grenade, hauls out of there, trail of gasoline all the way to this plague box, pulls the pin of the grenade while he's going out of the tanker truck, and chucks it out like he's Mad Max as an explosion goes off behind him. I'm like, how is this scene not talked about more? Like, this is friggin' awesome.
But yeah, but the only thing with that though, I thought was funny though, because like earlier on in the episode when they were doing like the train heist, they used what looks like a grenade for a smoke bomb, which was like looks exactly like a grenade, but like it was like what looked like the same grenade that Batman just used. So I'm like, that choose a design for each thing, because like if you because they I would thought it was like a smoke bomb when he was like, you can't set off like gasoline with a smoke bomb. And he just throws it, and it was a grenade. I'm like, what the fuck? Why'd you make the other thing look like a grenade if it's a smoke bomb? Like, come on.
Imagine he pulled the wrong grenade and he just chucked
Yeah.
smoke behind him. He's like,
He's like,
I
fuck.
gotta drive all the way back there, man.
Like, I see smoke. It's smoking. Why isn't it catching on fire? Like, what the fuck?
So yeah, he's getting out of there as I guess it's like Gordon and the government, those
Yeah.
blasted feds. They're
So like as the exits of the facility, drives the tanker into the helicopter that Red Claw was going off, and just as that happens, the yeah, I guess he called told Gordon where the facility was, and then they shows up with the feds to just save the day.
yeah, and Red Claw is going after Catwoman and obviously ticked off that her plan is ruined.
Yeah,
And she's having a fight with her, and that's where one of the mountain lion, I believe it's the same mountain lion that Catwoman employed earlier, jumps on Red Claw and like knocks her off a cliff.
yeah.
Like I'm assuming that this cat killed her, but I don't know. I think Red Claw does appear later on in the series, so I but when I was watching this the first time, I'm like, yeah, she's dead. Like that cat's like having her for breakfast. Like
I know. Then I thought I would laugh as they were having that fight because at one point she says, "I've brought countries to my knees," and I was thinking, and I was like, "I've brought country to my knees. I've brought down the Borg. I've escaped the Delta Quadrant, but I can't take down Catwoman. No, where's my coffee?"
I haven't seen
Oh yeah,
someone
wrong
look
show.
this sexy in a jumpsuit since Seven of Nine. Oh yeah. So yeah, they're able to take care of Red Claw and Batman goes to find Catwoman at home. Or sorry, yeah, he finds Catwoman at home when she's looking for Maven and he's like, Maven's not here.
It's yeah, because
And
I think yeah, because when he was talking to Maven before, he says like, yeah, everything's going to shit, so you might as well get out of town now before they catch you. I think great,
yeah,
and that's then she's already taken off.
and Batman like reveals to her like, yeah, like I have feelings for you too. But of course he's a man of the law, so
Yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, he's like, I call him like, yeah, Batman's no narc, and then he fucking cuffs her. I'm like, oh, no, I was like, wait a minute, cuffs aren't only for arrests sometimes, so this could be sexy times.
that's exactly what I put. Never said I was taking you to jail.
Well,
Careless Whisper starts playing.
do 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 do.
But yeah, no, that was Cat in the Claw. Yeah, I like this episode. I don't necessarily think it needed to be a two-parter. I think you could have
Yeah,
condensed it a bit more, but
yeah. But yeah, I was definitely like, yeah. So what would you give this out of five cat ninjas stars?
I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5 Cat Ninja stars. I think the Batman Catwoman dynamic is really good, and it
Yeah,
plays to
they hit it really good like right off, yeah, sort of thing, yeah. So that where it's like right off, so that was good, yeah.
yeah, and the
But
plot is straightforward.
so I definitely I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5 as all. It was decent. Probably could have condensed it into one episode, but yeah, I think for most of the introductions, like the big introductions for characters, I think of getting two parters because yeah, we got that with well, I guess we didn't get a two-parter with Mr. Freeze because we got the two-parter with Two-Face, and then yeah, this one, and then there's the two-parter
Clayface is
with
another.
Clayface coming up. I think that's coming up soon. So, but yeah, so I think I'll give it a 3.5 cat ninja stars as well. So any last words on this episode before we wrap it up?
No, I think it was
Yeah,
pretty solid, and yeah, it's definitely brings kind of brings into the Catwoman side of the mythology, and yeah, no, I think it was pretty solid. If this was the first episode broadcasted, I think it definitely is a reason why it stuck around as long as it did this show.
So yeah, so with that, like I'd tell you if I was watching it like first run, like I was be pissed if like the second part wasn't like right away. But but what can you do? But yeah, so that is the episode for this week. All right, everyone, thank you for joining us this week, and thank you guys for listening to us yammer on for how long it's been. Follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast, and follow, listen, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcast at Beyond the Backcast. And where can we find you on the internet, Braden?
You can find me on Instagram at Alfred is Zaddy.
Oh,
And you can
Zaddy.
also find me at Facebook on the Beyond the Backcast Facebook page, where I help page out with Adam.
All right, and you can follow me on Instagram at Stump Chunkman, or you can listen and subscribe to my other podcast I do sometimes at the Multiverse on Marvel. You can find that wherever you find your podcasts. And join us next week. This episode is See No Evil, where the guy, I think the guy has like a secret stealth suit, which is like really enough. Like I think they have like a similar thing in like the original like Flash like TV show from like 1991 with like Jay Wesley Shipp or whatever. I think that's like the one episode I vaguely remember. Like the guy had like a stealth belt or something like that. So, but yeah, so join us next week for that, and thanks for joining us at Beyond the Backcast, talking about Batman the animated series. Goodbye, good chums. Kapow.